Catch me on News Nation talking about the
Yes.
college
Oh,
days.
yeah.
But speaking of mainstream news sources, another year. This is one's from CNN and a multitude of others. Another year passes, and we have yet another warning from the American Heart Association about cannabis causing heart issues. Are they being really real this time? The reason I ask this is because the dramatic release comes in tandem with a massive promotional push for AHA's Scientific Sessions 2023 symposium beginning this Friday in Philadelphia. And I'm pretty sure it was Curtis 50 Cent Jackson who perfected the formula of dropping diss tracks about rivals on mixtapes to build buzz for upcoming albums, but I digress. Here's what's going on. Yesterday, the American Heart Association released two studies that point to evidence suggesting that cannabis consumption could lead to increased rate of heart attacks, heart failure, and strokes. Since yesterday's release, the stories hit mainstream Mockingbird media chyrons everywhere: Bloomberg, CNN, Fox News, People Magazine, The Hill, Men's Journal, you name them, chances are they put out a story out. They put out this story like it's law. Should we all be concerned? Let's see what they're saying. Older adults who don't smoke tobacco but do use cannabis were at higher risk of both heart attack and stroke when hospitalized, while people who use cannabis daily were 34% more likely to develop heart failure. The AHA recommends people refrain from smoking or vaping any substance, including cannabis products, because of the potential harm to the heart, lungs, and blood vessels. While highlighting chronic conditions and weed, the release says that older adults often develop a number of chronic conditions by age 65, which appear to make the impact of marijuana worse. According to one of the studies that examined hospital records for adults over 65 with cannabis use disorder who did not smoke tobacco. The new data comes in accordance with to new to two new non-published studies presented Monday morning. The first study's research found that 8,535 adults who abused weed had a 20% higher risk of having a major heart attack or brain event when hospitalized, compared to over 10 million older hospitalized adults who did not use marijuana. Both abusers and non-users abusers and non-users. You see the wording of this. They're saying if you use, you are an abuser, but if you are a non-user, you're just normal. Anyways, keep going. Already been diagnosed with high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, or high cholesterol. They also found that having high blood pressure readings over 130 over 80 and high cholesterol were key predictors of major adverse heart and brain events in marijuana users. The second study presented followed nearly 160,000 adults with median age of 54 for about 4 years to see if use of cannabis would impact their risk of developing heart failure. At the end of the study, researchers found that people who reported daily cannabis use had 34% increased risk of developing heart failure compared to those reported never using it. Age, sex at birth, and smoking history did not appear to impact the risk, and study researchers did not know if the marijuana was smoked or eaten, end quote. Both studies present pretty interesting information and definitely worth the read, whether you believe the numbers or not. It's important to state that correlation is not causation, and I would be remiss to not mention that with the Heart Association, we do, in fact, have an unreliable narrator. Every year before the symposium, for at least the last, or at least the last 3 years since I've been watching them and delivering the news, they drop unreleased news for developments of this same study. I'm not saying that it's bullshit. However, I do always check my sources, and when it comes to studies, whoever's funding these studies. I was shocked to see back in 2020 that AHA's Heart Healthy recipe page that the recipe of the day was for beef stew. Not only does red meat have direct links to multitude of heart issues, but digging deeper led me to find that AHA is based in Dallas, Texas, big beef country. And surprise, surprise, the big beef lobby that year sat at the top of their corporate funding sources. Fast forward to August 2022, Animal Outlook filed a lawsuit against AHA over its use of heart check labels on certain meat products, alleging it had been taking payment for meat from meat companies for its heart healthy certifications, contradicting their own research claiming that, quote, higher meat intake is associated with atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, ASCVD. And the case was dismissed, but forced AHA to revise its heart healthy recommendations processes. This morning, I checked AHA's Heart Check certified recipe page and was pleasantly surprised that the beef recipes were no longer prominently placed at the top of the page, They are at the bottom. There's still an outsized number of National Cattlemen's Beef Association certified recipes compared to the non-meat offerings. AHA's latest financial release revealed majority of their corporate funding comes from big pharma, big meat, and big tech, all chipping in millions of dollars each. I was happy to see that Jazz Pharmaceuticals was on that list too, but they dropped just 50,000. Hmm. I guess we still got a long way to go before these hyped up studies that are all over the news begin to favor what we deem to be science too. Follow the money, y'all. I'm Rico Meet, the dopest dad on the street reporting for High at 9 News. What do you guys think of this? American Heart Association.
Again, my concern is they didn't ask people whether or not it was smoked or ate. They don't know. Are these people individuals getting their product from a legal state? Are they smoking it in tobacco, in bleached paper, in flavored paper, in hemp wraps, whatever? So many factors to factor in. And then they made it a point. They made a point to mention that after hospitalization. So they are correlating that this heart disease or the heart attacks or the stroke came after hospitalization. And we know how many diseases are floating around in hospitals and how much bacteria is floating around in hospitals to have other side effects to whatever disease you may have or for whatever reason you came in. And so I'm just concerned. Obviously, I love quoting you, Rico, follow the money. Who's paying for this research? The fact that they would have any type of meat, especially red meat, on the American Heart Association's menu list is disturbing. And so it's just interesting to when I hear this research come out and all of the claims and the numbers and the to shock people and scare people. It really does. It just blows my mind each and every time. I wish we had any doctor up here to kind of tell us and explain to us some of these numbers that are in here. But a third of the people that they tested after 4 years that they don't know whether or not they smoked it or ate it. They don't know where they were getting from. They don't
Yeah.
know what they smoked it in. But a third of them had higher potential for a stroke or heart attack. It's just interesting.
Yeah,
I think that the report, it says unpublished. It's an unpublished report. That means it hasn't been reviewed by peers. It hasn't been
Yeah.
looked
Right.
at by experts and doctors who have approved this also. So um,
I'll tell you.
I think it's bullshit. And you're right, Nicole. How are they smoking it? Because a
Mhm.
bleached white paper is much different than a hemp paper. And
Yeah, and
I mean,
this is
even a
this
blunt.
textbook rapper. This textbook rapper shit. You got an album that's about to drop. You get on every mixtape. You talk shit about all your
Mhm.
rivals. Build up a
right.
buzz. They have that huge symposium coming up this weekend, and they have so many other talk tracks that they could have talked about, but they're talking about the hottest issue right now. Marijuana is associated with cardiovascular disease.
That just sounds
I don't.
Bullshit.
ridiculous to me.
It's genetics
And
and
you know
diet
what? I
that
think I think the
controls.
only
Absolutely.
I think the
Exactly.
only association that cannabis has in regards with cardiovascular disease is the fact of back in the days under prohibition that people's heart races would race so fast when law enforcement would get behind them that was pretty much the only situation of cardiovascular disorder with
Like if
cannabis.
you like close your eyes, you can hear your heart beating.
Yeah, you know when your butt cheeks get tight all of a sudden you're riding in a car. That's what
Well,
happens.
They'll
we
call
do
that
know
capturing your butt.
Mhm.
opioids, and fentanyl and those other very dangerous drugs is that cannabis won't stop your heart. It won't stop you from breathing. It won't cause your blood vessels to enlarge and bust. Like we know that it doesn't do that. But all this other stuff just sounds like fluff to me.
I wonder if Project Sam had anything to do with this study at all. If they put some money into this, Rico.
They'll probably be reposting it.
Oh, they'll for sure be reposting it. This paints right into their narrative.
Well, as an old guy, they're
Fascinating.
talking.
Their biggest supporter is the beef industry. Like,
Where's
Yeah.
the beef? Where's
Right.
the beef in this story?
Where is the beef?
The American
No,
Heart
as an old
Association
guy,
is located in Dallas, Texas. Just remember that. In the
Mhm.
middle of
say
the UP.
an old guy who smokes weed, right, who
And cigars.
this article was and cigars, but not cigarettes. I care of my heart, right? Because my parents, my dad had several heart attacks. He ended up dying of a stroke over time. Um, but so I care for my heart, and I go and I get checked, and I see a specialist, and only medication I take is weed, right? Usually rolled in a hemp paper. It's the only medication. No blood pressure, no heart medication, and
They never
just
put you
recently,
on
I'm happy to
nitro, huh?
report.
They never
Oh,
put you on
fuck
nitro,
no.
huh? Look
Oh,
at that.
I eat healthy and I smoke weed, and that's what I attribute to my health. And I just got a very clean bill of health just weeks ago. I got a full workup and have the heart of a 30-year-old. I'm proud to report.
Is that what did they put
Um,
that on paper?
No, they did not. Did not.
Look at that. Heart of a 30-year-old. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that, Todd. You might as
Long
well be a
ticker.
relay racer now.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Does that mean you're ready to fall in love once again, Todd?
Oh,
Fall in
God.
love all over again?
I'm ready right now, today.
Yes.
If I could just get some of that product from someone,
Yeah.
I'll
some of
learn
that
how to
hello
say
again.
hello to women again.
Yes.
Yes.
Some of that hello again.
It's been a minute, right?
Yes.
You know how to say hello to women nowadays? You got to swipe right, brother. Swipe right.
And just so everyone knows, at our next event, we will be auctioning off Todd on our dating block for charity.
Ah,
Yes.
wife won't care if you get a lot of money for it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. She's a great sport.
Yes.
She is a great sport. You got any thoughts on this, Saman? All your medical knowledge?
No, I mean, it's sad to say, but everyone's bought and paid for these days, especially these scientific papers and studies. I mean, you're gonna get somebody to lean one way or the other because most of the time the data is inconclusive, and so this is something that we can just draw opinions on for most part. I mean, until there's more knowledge and more experimentation and more publications of those experiments. I mean, we still have most of the country thinking it's okay and safe to consume delta 8 products from CBD. So you know,
Facts.
I also think it's safe to consume McDonald's cheeseburgers.
I mean,
Big
yeah, we're
Macs.
giving away free McDonald's for supporting like health related causes like
What do you mean?
like,
They sell salads now.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, like the salad that like got
That's
away.
the big seller at McDonald's.
Yes.
Well, like I was looking into the funding sources of some of these biggest quote unquote associations that are the most publicly televised. And Susan G. Komen for breast cancer research, their biggest corporate sponsor is KFC.
What?
That's
Amazing.
interesting.
What?
Amazing.
That's interesting.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Well, no. They had to
Because
change
they
their
cause
name.
so much of it.
No. They had to change their name to KFC because they are not classified as chicken anymore. Because chicken only have two wings and 2 legs, not 8 and 4.
No breasts.
Yes.